But have you ever looked at a picture and realized something was wrong? Not with the picture, but with the moment it captured. That's what happened when I found an old photo of my childhood bedroom. It showed a stranger standing behind me, a stranger who didn't exist until he started showing up in my house again 20 years later. I never planned on going back to my childhood home. Too many memories, too many unfinished conversations. Too many things left buried in the walls, figuratively, not literally. But after my mother passed, the house became mine. I couldn't sell it without going through her things first. The house looked smaller now, less intimidating than it did when I was a kid. But the moment I stepped inside, everything felt heavier. The air, the silence, even the light seemed dimmer, like the house was holding its breath. I started in the attic, a place I hadn't been since I was 12. Dust floated through the beam of my flashlight, settling on old furniture, boxes, and toys I forgot I ever owned. That's when I found it's a faded cardboard box labeled "Photos Do Not Throw Away." Inside were dozens of old pictures. Family gatherings, birthdays, vacations. And then I saw it. A picture of me, maybe 10 years old, sitting on my bedroom floor with toys scattered around. I was smiling at the camera, but behind me, standing in the corner, was a man, tall, thin, wearing a dark sweater. His face was blurred, like the camera didn't want to focus on him. His hands hung stiffly at his sides, fingers long and unnatural. I stared at the picture for a long time before flipping it over. On the back, my mum had written, "Don't show him this one." My stomach twisted. I didn't remember that man. I didn't remember anyone else being in the room. And my mum had never mentioned anything like this. I took the photo downstairs, planning to set it aside. But the moment I reached the bottom step, the house changed. A coldness swept through the hallway, and the faint smell of something metallic filled the air like old keys or rusted pipes. I called out, "Hello," even though I knew no one was there. Then the floorboards creaked, slow, deliberate. Behind me, I spun around, expecting dust falling or wood settling, but nothing was out of place. Trying to calm down, I walked to the kitchen and set the photo on the table. Then something happened that made my blood turn to ice. The man in the photo, he wasn't blurry anymore. His face had sharpened, as if the picture had changed while I wasn't looking. He had hollow eyes so dark they didn't reflect light. His mouth twisted into a faint, unnatural smile. I dropped the picture. Immediately, the house groaned a deep, structural groan that sounded like it was coming from inside the walls. And then I heard footsteps again. But this time, they weren't coming from behind me. They were coming from upstairs. From my old bedroom. My body refused to move, but my mind was screaming at me to leave. I forced myself to back away toward the front door. But then I heard something else. A soft tapping. Not on the door, not on the wall, not on the floor, on the photo. I turned slowly. The picture lay face up on the kitchen tiles, and the man's face was smiling wider now, teeth sharp, eyes black as ink. The tapping came again, like fingernails or knuckles. I didn't stay long enough to find out. I grabbed my keys, ran out the door, and didn't stop until I was in my car with the engine running. I looked back at the house only once. A shadow stood in the upstairs window, tall, thin, unmoving. I drove away and never went back. A week later, I hired a company to empty the house for me. But when they asked about personal items, especially photographs, I told them to throw everything out. Everything. But last night, I received a package with no return address. Inside was a single photograph. Me sitting in my childhood bedroom, smiling at the camera, and behind me, closer than ever, the man in the dark sweater. Some memories should stay buried, especially the ones you never meant to capture, because sometimes the camera doesn't make mistakes. Sometimes it shows you what was always standing right behind you, and sometimes it follows you home. Thanks for listening. If you liked this story, be sure to subscribe for more.